What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. So a little update on today. Worked, the 86 is back. Had a little issue that we thought we weren't quite sure what was going on. And then we also did a little bit on the 2 valve. The 99 is also back. So we're gonna update you here on all those right now. On the 99, we upgraded to energy suspension poly motor mounts, and then we were going to do the trans mount, but since it says a Viper spec T56, that does not work with the energy suspension T56 mount, obviously, for at least the Cobra. So we would have to source something else there. We're trying to still chase a little bit of noise that it's got. Can't pinpoint what's going on with there. What else? Oh, we put a new alternator on this because the other one, holy cow, I don't know what happened here, but this is the old one. Not sure where the nut is for it. That probably would have solved all the issues that it had if it had the nut. But let's see if we can. It sounds great, especially when it's spinning really fast. Makes the car sound even better. So we swapped an alternator thanks to, I think John Galloway had one. We were able to get one in and out and put it on right away, get it all tested, got the wheels all rebalanced and everything. Found out it has a bent front passenger wheel, I believe. So Derek, we're gonna have to fill you in on that one, obviously, and see what you wanna do there. So there's that one. And then on the 2 valve, we pretty much buttoned up everything underneath the car. We put in a wideband gauge, so we had a bung welded in right after the collector. We welded one in there. We took out the rear isolators to kind of bring the rear end down a little bit. Put a new fuel filter on because he's going to be switching to E85, so we didn't want to run the old one that he had because I'm sure that was original. So we took both isolators from the rear to kind of bring the ass end down, get her to sit nice. So we'll see once it settles. Obviously, we just pushed it back out here because it's not running and needs a tune for the E85 setup that we got going on here. So we put a AEM Yugo wideband gauge right there on the column. Got that all wired up. We switched to a silver bezel to go with all the other ones to match that. And yeah, so that's all wired in, power's up, everything's good there. So it was a little update on the 2 valve so far. I think all we have left is all under the hood. We gotta do injectors, change the spark plugs. We had to do an EGR delete on this one because it doesn't work with the lethal budget return system that's on it. So made a little block off plate, got that all done. That's all on the car, which again we'll show you tomorrow when we gotta pull the blower to change the injectors and do all that stuff. And we should have a new pulley coming in. And we found out that this from Torque Tech, they told us to just get a billet flow upper, which, as you see before, I think that does not fit on this blower. The shaft of this snout is way smaller than an Eaton blower. So we found out this is actually a Magnuson MP112, not an Eaton M112. So that is the whole reason behind that issue. And as for the 86 being back, we couldn't really figure out what was going on. He had an issue with his fan relay actually ended up melting, so we ended up getting a new dual fan relay and getting all that wired in and dialed in with temperature. And then we were fighting like a little squeak and we couldn't really figure out what it was. We knew it had like an exhaust leak coming from the passenger side header. It's like, okay, well, you know, if we get to that, we'll get to that and swap that out and put a new gasket in. So lo and behold, we did that today, just now, and this is what we found.
Yeah, positive.
So, as you can see, that is not supposed to be like that. All of these were pretty much going. That one was almost all the way as bad. All that. I mean, look, it's peeling up there. Already went through there. Bad there, and obviously that. So this was actually on the front, which was where all the noise is coming from. So we got that swapped out for a Taylor MLS gasket that JC supplied. He said he had one laying around, so we put that one in. Yeah, right, yep. Taylor seal for good gasket that he had, MLS gasket. Put that on, and now nice and quiet, and runs better than ever has. At least for us, it's never sounded better than this. Now we are hearing the AC compressor pulley sounds really bad. So that would be the next noise that you hear under here, aside from what we heard before. And then we got the dual fan controller down there, the derail right there, silver one, high amp adjustable. Power the two fans instead of having both fans powered by one like 25 or 40 amp relay, which ended up burning the power wires that go to it, and he ended up overheating it. But I don't think it got overheated too much, a little over 200. But yeah, so now that's in. That wires kicks the fans on, kicks the fans off, and then it runs one fan at your set temperature that you put it at, and then after 15 degrees hotter, it'll kick on the second fan and then cool it down even more, and then it'll shut the fans off after 10 degrees below your fan on temperature for fan number one. So that's all that. That's all good to go. Belt's nice and tight. Everything's back together. So yeah. Couldn't be happier. We were a little worried that we'd have to tear it all apart again, but luckily it was just a header gasket. Able to swap that out, and now she sounds great. So little update for today.
Yeah.
And then we got our next project in. Next quick in and out while waiting for parts on the other big projects that we got. We got a 2012, I believe, GT500 in grabber blue in for a clutch. It's got no bag clutch in it. Got towed here, so we're not sure if it goes into gear and moves yet. We haven't tested that. It literally just got dropped right here, and that's it is. So we're gonna get it up on the lift after the 86 is out of there and try and see what carnage we can find for that one. That's that. So far so good. Nick's painting stuff for the 351 for the Cougar motor that we got right here, the blue one. All bagged up, and then we're at the Lightning. All the motor parts are here. We're gonna start putting that together. And the trans actually finally showed up. So that'll be nice. Right over there. So that's what we got going on. Still a lot to do. But still waiting on parts for the Corvette, sadly. That'll be over here shortly, we hope.
Alright guys, so we got a quick video for you, or a quick section of this video to wrap up this week's festivities. Dan gave you guys the update on everything we've been working on this week. There's been a lot going on here. We're trying to get caught up on everything so we can get some more of your guys' cars in here. We've had a lot of requests, and we got a waiting list a mile long. But one that we're sneaking in right now is this GT500. It is a 13,000 mile car. I don't know. It's like 13 or 15,000 miles. It's really nice. It's got a couple dingers in it, but nothing that paintless dent repair can't fix. Other than that, it's like flawless. And it has a bad clutch. So he got a Centerforce twin disc clutch to put in it with a lightweight steel flywheel. So we're working, or I should say Dan more or less, is working on getting the trans out of it. And when we tried to bring it into the shop yesterday, I mean, it does not even move itself. It is completely dead in the water. Dan was just turning the drive shaft by hand while it's in first gear. That's how bad the clutch is. So now that we got up in the air, we see that it has some pretty interesting modifications. Now the guy who owns this car inherited it from his father, who unfortunately passed away. So he doesn't know too much about it. But a couple things that we've seen so far is number one, huge thing. It has a freaking 9-inch in it. You don't see that every day, especially when you're not expecting it. So that's kind of cool. I'm not sure whose it is. It has Strange axle ends on it, but I don't know if Strange makes a 9-inch direct bolt in for an S197. But it's got completely factory upper and lower control arms, but it has a freaking 9-inch in it. So they must have blew it up at some point. So that's pretty interesting.
Got a one-piece drive there. I don't know if they came like that, but obviously it's for it.
Yeah, it's just got one-piece drive shaft with a slip joint in it. I don't see any bolt locations. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, it looks like it would have had a two-piece. I mean, it's got the thing and it looks like something was bolted there before. Here's another little nifty thing that I don't think we've seen before. This like solid travel limiters on both sides. So somebody was racing this thing. It's got 2 nails in that front tire. It has ball drag radials back here. So she needs some tire help. And then it is pulleyed and tuned. And the belt, well, you can't really see anything, but the belt is super loose. There's blower dust all over the front of the blower. So we're going to be putting a tighter 10 rib on it. Hopefully we can find one in stock at the local Napa. They carry a lot of stuff. And yeah, that's what this project is. So once we get the clutch out, we'll show you how destroyed it is before we put the Centerforce in it. And we'll show you that too. Now, I'm not typically crazy about Centerforce clutches because I don't really like the whole centrifugal weight design that they put on it. But we will see how this one drives. Maybe it'll change my mind. Yeah, that's it. GT500 stuff. Doing some S197 goodies. All right, Dan, you want to explain how easy it was to get the clutch out of this GT500?
No, it's okay.
It was super simple.
Yeah, very. Came right out.
Should do it in your driveway in about 1 hour. If anybody quotes you more than that.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, so after fighting with this thing to get it out, we got the clutch out. She's all sorts of different colors. Oh, there's some of it.
There's chunks everywhere.
That's still bolted together. The clutch disc is completely gone.
You can't really unbolt this.
She's just toast. Mainly this back half.
You can't even get this part apart. It's riveted together.
No, so she's definitely non-serviceable. Look at the chunks of clutch everywhere. You're able to put it in gear and get out of the car.
And it won't move. And I was able to spin it by hand with it in gear. The drive shaft.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So that's all out. Trans feels good though.
I need the vacuum.
So that's good. No major issues there. Nothing there. Gotta swap out the slave cylinder for the new one. So with switching to the new twin disc, you just have to make sure that the engagement's gonna be right. So we have to measure from the surface of the bell housing to the face of the throwout bearing. Then we gotta put the new throwout bearing on, or with the new throwout bearing on. And then we have to measure from the face of the block to the tops of the clutch fingers once the Centerforce clutch is installed. You want them to be just barely touching. You don't want them to be too far away because then it won't fully disengage. So you really want that tolerance to be tight. So that's what we gotta do next. We're gonna stop for lunch and then move on from there. All right, so we're getting ready to put the Centerforce clutch in the GT500. And I'm actually pretty impressed with the quality of the Centerforce stuff. I mean, everything's billet, really super heavy duty, vented floater, vented flywheel, billet centers, good clutch disc, lots of material on them. Really got nothing bad to say about this. It looks like a pretty good kit. We'll see how it drives, but it looks like it should be good.
Got the new hydraulics already on it too.
Well, got the GT500 done, clutch in, everything buttoned up underneath, and yeah, took it on a little 6-mile drive. Just make sure it went through all the gears fine, which it does. It's no fun to really have a clutch job in terms of you won't be able to really feel how the car is, but that's okay. We're able to go through all the gears and yeah, felt pretty good. So that's a wrap on this one, and hopefully we'll probably see it back here shortly. You know, I'd probably advise him to get a MGW shifter for it and probably maybe upgrade to the stainless steel clutch line too, because those are some key upgrades which I wish we kind of would have voiced prior to it coming here, because that would have been perfect, because the transits to come out to do the shifter anyways. So that would be nice if we were able to know that, but otherwise it went pretty well. You know, we hustled, got the trans out, which is a little bit of a pain in the ass, but we're able to get it all done. As you can see, I'm a little messy and my hair's a mess and the battery's almost dead, but she's done. On the ground, drives, made it on the 6-mile little cruise, went through all the gears like I said, downshifted, went through, everything felt great. So
that's a wrap on the GT500. And yeah, 86 got picked up today too, so that was a nice one. On to the next one. That's a wrap.